From the unfriendliest city on earth, this is the Shreveport Report for August 5th, 2016. Shreveport always has been, is, and may always be the unfriendliest city on earth. This is a view of Morningside and Kent from Kent Avenue, facing north. My house is 3 houses up on the right. Notice that what I've done is draw a traffic circle in the middle of the intersection. An addition like this will calm the traffic. When people realize they can't blow through the stop sign, the civil disobedience will reduce significantly. The goal is to reduce the traffic, reduce the vehicle speeds, improving safety and enhancing the quality of life in the neighborhood, which in turn increases property values. Kent Avenue is 3,000 feet long. That's drag strip length. Cars can get up to 90 miles an hour, as you will see in this video. Go to trafficcalming.org to learn more about traffic calming and how it can be applied. And no report would be complete without the introductory gunfire. And a little follow-up gunfire. And then there's the harassing harangue from my neighbors.
Hey, man! Tell it! Hey, how you doing?
While my neighbors were being so friendly, a car goes by at 50 miles an hour, blowing through the stop sign. Of course, there are these suicidal maniacs who come by my house just to please me. These illegally modified utility vehicles need to be reined in. It's a utility vehicle, not NASCAR. These illegally modified vehicles parade by my house several times a day. My neighbors have to announce their departure so that everyone knows they're leaving. Hold it right there. Notice this car's back wheel is uncovered. And how many times it goes by. This is the 90-mile-an-hour vehicle coming to visit my house before this insane display of speed. My radar tells me he was going over 90 miles an hour.
Shreveport Police 47.
This is Jay Salsburg. I'm calling to report a car going 90 miles an hour past my house.
All right, what's the description of that vehicle?
It's a small white four-door. It's difficult to get a direct description. I'll produce a video tomorrow, but I want to be contacted, please. Yeah.
I'm 147.
Yeah, that's the car literally went by at 90 miles an hour.
All right, got that in the call.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Here's the same car coming by a few minutes later. This is the officer responding to my request to be contacted. There is nothing like a heartfelt conversation to clarify one's position.
We're Tyler's office.
Jay Salsburg.
Yes.
I just got off the phone with an associate in California.
Yes, sir.
They're saying that I should not talk down to everyone, but I'm not trying to talk down to anyone. I'm just. Last night a car went by at 90 miles an hour. I'm not kidding. 90 miles an hour. How many times do I have to say it? This neighborhood is a death trap. I hate to sound desperate, but I am. I feel like if it's not me, someone else is going to die simply through negligence and, homicidal mania.
Yes, sir. But Mr. Salsburg, I have told the police department of every call that you have made to me. I have sent it, and I can't send it to the police department as a report like that. I send mine to Captain Willis.
Again, I'm not talking down to you, but the police are not the solution. They're just an interim fix that's not working. If enforcement was the solution, it would have worked by now. You know that definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result? Well, that's what's going on here. And this is why these suicidal maniacs are allowed to terrorize the neighborhood with impunity, because somehow whoever is in authority is not seeking a solution. They're not going outside the box, whatever you want to call it. I'm an engineer. The solution is an engineering solution. Mm-hmm. The traffic engineer is reportedly, just like everyone told me, that he's hard to get along with. It's true. All he does is spout rules and regulations. Well, rules and regulations are made by people. People can change them. People can break them. And there's a thing called force de jure. You know what that means? Force de jure. It means being forced through circumstance. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter what the rules are. If the circumstances require that you do something to protect yourself. And this applies to all law. Law, when you're in court, been charged with something, and force de jure, something, the circumstances have forced the situation on you, and you do something which may be illegal, but is protecting yourself. I don't intend to do that. That's what it calls for. That whoever is in charge, never mind the rules, solve the problem. You know, somewhere out there, there's a legislature or something that has passed these laws. They're rules. They're just rules. People make the rules. People can change them. The engineer, he's hiding behind this veil of rules, keeps spouting rules and regulations. That doesn't get the problem solved. And I'm desperate. I feel like I'm living in a pit of snakes, and I'm just going to get bitten. Who else the state says they're not concerned. And the situation now, I moved back here in September. That's almost a year ago. And it's getting worse and worse all the time. The car that came through last night was literally leaving the ground. So it's just a matter of time before we read about this on the CBS News. It's not a race thing or who lives where or what. The guy who's behind the wheel and pushes that accelerator, he's the perpetrator. Law enforcement is not able to do anything to correct this problem. So calling the police, having that in mind, it's like everyone thinks, oh, well, have you called the police? That's not the solution. I hate to sound derogatory, or I have nothing against the police or anybody else. I feel threatened. This is a threat to my safety. The other people in the neighborhood, remember we talked about that no snitch rule? Well, that rule is going to get people killed. The traffic engineer said, well, it depends on what the other neighbors think. No, it doesn't. If you're in a house and it's on fire, and you don't call the fire department because you think that you might get in trouble for doing it, the house burns down with you in it. That's what the neighborhood is on fire. It's an emergency. Emergency powers. The mayor can declare emergency powers. She can do anything she wants to keep the public safe, including barricading the street.
Mr. Salsburg, you've tried everything else. Why don't you, as well as you write, why don't you write her an email and tell her basically what you have told me? The fact that you've met with Dr. Irwin and it has not helped. Why don't you tell her about the numerous reports that you have done? Because I have, and just to remind her that it does involve something other than a law enforcement personnel whom you have called literally hundreds of times and asked her to intervene and just copy it to me. She'll call me in and say, is this the man that took you the videotape? Are these things that you've been talking to me about? And I will just say, yes, ma'am. We talk almost every other day. Why don't you just sit down and discuss her?
Okay.
Mayor at ShreveportLA.gov.
I send her email several times a week. I'm not saying that I'm not going to do this.
Wait a minute. No, you do not. And I have told you that. Because whatever you send her, I will get it. You tell me that you send us a video. No, you do not. Not that we get. And maybe you're uploading them and we can't access them. But if she gets an email, I'm going to get it.
The last one I sent was yesterday. Yeah. I'm about to create another one with a 90-mile-an-hour video in it at the ShreveportLA.gov.
Yes.
Okay. Sure.
Yes. And I'll get it. And I'll ask her.
Okay.
Because I'd like to see some of them, and I'd like to remind her. Please explain to her the solution. Tell her with whom you have spoken. That's
okay.
All of that.
Sure. I made contact with the crime reporter
Yes.
at the Times, and he's coming by Wednesday morning.
Yes.
So I'm giving you a heads up. And
right.
I'm not trying to make a hit piece or anything, but I'm going to tell him. He's watching the videos too. So.
Well, that's why you sent her one.
Yeah.
And so that I can say, Madam Mayor, this is the man that I've been telling you about. He He writes and calls us every week or so.
Yeah, it's becoming every day now.
Well, you know, at least I'll walk in and say.
Yeah, I get it. I know you're the go-between.
Yeah, and I just say he is deeply concerned about what is going on in his neighborhood. You know, and that'll give, you know, that'll raise her interest,
Yeah.
pique her interest, and she's, oh yeah, I remember this, I remember that, and you know, nothing's better than something in print. But you know, you just, you know, you have evidence of having done it. You know.
Okay. This report I'll make now, I'll actually speak as though I'm speaking to her, but not as a person, as someone listening. You know, I'm not going to name names or anything, but
There's nothing wrong with saying, you know, Mrs. Tyler, Madam Mayor, I appeal to you about this. I have gone everywhere else, and I call your office every day or every other day trying to get some resolution. There's nothing wrong with saying that, because you have done that. I cannot deny that. Captain Willis cannot deny that. Dr. Irwin cannot deny that. We just don't know how to execute the solution that is necessary.
okay.
No, seriously.
I know. Yeah, and believe me, in the past, I've made reports that touch on all of those subjects, you know, detail, with diagrams. I've created infographics that show how to do it.
Yes, sir.
And I'll go back. It'll take some research. I'll go back and find those images and stuff, and I'll.
Okay, Mrs. Salsburg, let me holler at the mayor.
Okay, sure.
Thank you, sir.